Hey everyone, I hope you're all doing really well. Today I am so incredibly excited to be sharing with you my mid-year makeup inventory for 2023. I last checked in on my makeup inventory at the end of 2022 and it's been a while. It's definitely been a while since I sat down with my collection, photographed everything, took these numbers. So today I am going to be sharing with you a lot of stats, a lot of numbers, and I am so excited to do so. One thing that you will notice in today's inventory check-in that is a little bit different from years past is I've actually combined a lot of categories together. I had talked about this previously that I was wanting to do this because I really started to feel like in years past I had kind of separated out cream and liquid blushes versus powder blushes so that I wouldn't have as large of numbers. It would feel a little bit more digestible to me, a little bit more acceptable, and it would kind of give me a little bit of leeway to bring more things into those categories because things appeared smaller than they were. And I've kind of had a change of mindset where I really want to see the numbers as like full number counts, no matter what the type of texture formulation is, if that makes sense. So you will see as we go through all of these products what I was thinking and how I've combined these things. It totally makes more sense. It will expedite the video, I think, a little bit as well. And because I did combine some of the categories, I'm not going to be talking about these in comparison to numbers from either the beginning of this year or tail end of last year because categories have kind of changed. However, I will still share with you the number of products that I have acquired and the number of products that I've emptied in each of these categories as well. So you can kind of get a better picture of how my collection has changed throughout this year simply through those statistics. I have not really decluttered any makeup this year, so I am not going to be sharing my declutter numbers. I've decluttered one singular item. It was my Milk Makeup bronzer in the shade Baked, which was in my year-long project pan. I elected to declutter it simply because it had completely expired on me. So I'm just going to be talking about the current count, how many products I've acquired. Generally that is through PR or things that I've recluttered into my life, and then the number of products that I've emptied in each category. So yeah, let's hop right on into it. So let's kick it off by talking about my primer count. I currently have 5 primers in my collection. I have acquired one this year, which actually was a product that I had recluttered. It was an item that I had previously decluttered and then found it in my closet, decided to bring it back into my collection. And then I have also emptied one primer, and I'm really hoping to try to empty another one this year. That would bring me down to 4, but currently I'm at 5, and I feel like I have a really good range of different types of formulas, different types of use cases within the primer collection that I do have, but I can foresee myself bringing this down to 2, 3, something like that, and easily feeling just as satisfied with the selection. My next category is one that I have combined. I have combined the foundation and tinted moisturizer category. Previously, I used to talk about these as 2 different numbers, but I'm so excited to share with you this number today that I only have 3 products in this combined category. I have not acquired any tinted moisturizers or foundations this year, even though it is the category that really excites me the most and compels me the most, especially while I'm on my no-buy. I've been really tempted to try some more base products, but I haven't. And I've actually emptied 2 base products this year. One was a foundation stick and one was a tinted moisturizer, and that feels so incredibly good to me. These 3 foundations offer me a little bit of variety. I'm really happy with them. One is a more sheer tinted moisturizer and 2 are more higher coverage foundations. And I am a-okay with the collection that I have. I've been a little curious to try some formulas here and there, but I can deal with what I got. I'm really happy with what I've got in terms of variety and selection. And before we get into the next category, I do want to clarify something that I should have mentioned in the introduction, but I totally bypassed. I am also counting individual pans in this year's inventory. I'm not counting highlighter palettes. I'm not counting face palettes. I'm counting individual pans, individual sides of duos. That's all I'm doing. I'm not talking about products that have multiples in them as a singular item. I'm breaking it down by each individual item. But you'll see that as we get into the pictures, especially, you will see that clarification. But this next category is one that I felt like the distinction was important for, because in this category, we're talking about my concealers and color correctors. and I currently have 7 items in this category. It is quite a large number for me, not really a number that I love to see, but I do have a really good variety within this category. 1 item is an under eye brightener, and then 2 items are color correctors in here. I have acquired 3 products in this category, one of which is a concealer, which I received in PR. The other 2 rather, are each individual pan in my Sigma color corrector duo. So technically speaking, you could say that was 1 item that came into my life because it's contained in the same packaging, but I feel accountable for each individual shade, and I've elected to do that for this inventory to break everything down by individual items. And so that's why I'm saying I've acquired 3, even though if you look at it, I've actually brought in 2 products. I hope that makes sense. Unfortunately, I've not yet emptied any concealers in my collection. However, I am getting very close to 1 being empty. I would love to bring that number down in the foreseeable future, but I'm happy with where it's at. I'm not bringing in anything else. I'm not intending to bring in anything else, at least as it stands right now. So overall, I'm very happy with this category. I've also decided it's time to combine the loose and pressed powders and just make simply a powder category. And in that category, I have 3 items. I have neither acquired or emptied any powders from my collection. However, I think I'm very, very close on my loose powder. I have been saying that, I feel like, for the entirety of 2023, but I am getting closer with each passing day. So I'm close to bringing that category down to 2. But right now it's sitting at 3, 2 of which are pressed powders that I hit pan on both of them this year. So I'm feeling really good about this category for sure. And for setting spray, I simply have 1 setting spray. I have not acquired any, I've not emptied any. This is one that I got at the end of last year in PR, or like in the fall time of last year in PR, and I use it whenever I feel compelled to do so. I'm not rushing to empty it, but I don't really feel like I need to bring any more setting sprays into my life in the immediate future. I've been actually using my Cocoa Kind toner as a setting spray every once in a while if I feel like my skin looks just a little bit too powdery. It just feels really nice and refreshing. And so yeah, I just haven't really been feeling the need for setting spray. This next category is samples, and yes, these are things that I do count because I feel like I'm accountable for using them up since I have brought them into my collection. I currently have 8 individual samples in my collection. I have not brought any new samples into my life, which is great because they are something that's super easy to just bring in, as a gift with purchase or as like a code or whatever. And I have been really diligent to not bring them in because they are something that takes away my energy from using up my fuller sized items, my items that are older in my collection. But I am really happy to say that this year so far, I have finished off 3 of my samples through my year-long project pan, and it feels really good to me because these are all things that had been hanging around for quite some time and formulations that I was genuinely curious to try out, but just never gave myself the opportunity or the excuse to use them up. So yeah, I have used up 3 items in this category, and that feels really good, sitting at just 8 samples remaining. For the mascara and lash primer category, these are combined categories. However, I've never really had lash primer in years past. I just simply brought one in at the very end of last year, so that's why this has become kind of like a merged category. I currently have 4 mascaras in my life, and every single one of them are open. 1 is a primer and 3 of them are mascaras. I'm really unhappy with 2 of the mascaras that I have in my life right now, but I have opted not to declutter them yet because perhaps they'll kind of change a little bit after being open for a couple months. So for the interim, I have not decluttered them. I've not decluttered any mascaras this year. However, I have emptied 2 this year, which feels really good. At least I'm making progress within that category. But yeah, I'm not super happy with that category as it stands right now. I would love to have a mascara that I just want to wear on a daily basis, and right now it's just a little bit of a chore with the mascaras that I have, to be quite frank. They're not favorites. Next up we're talking brows. I merge all types of brow products into this category. I have always done this. Currently, I only have 3 brow products in my collection. One is a brow pomade, one is a brow soap, and the other is a brow gel. I have acquired one, which was the brow gel, and I have actually used up 2 other brow gels this year, so I had emptied 2 products in the brow category. I feel like I have more than enough within those 3 products, but then oftentimes I'll end up trying out different eyeshadows for my collection through my brows as well, so I never feel like I'm missing out on selection within this category, even though this number is quite low. So now we're hopping into the bronzer category, which is a category that I do really love. I currently have 6 items in this category, one of which is a cream bronzer that comes from a duo, and then the other 5 are powder. One of those powder ones is also in a duo with a highlighter. It's the Charlotte Tilbury Film Star Bronze and Glow. 6 individual items in this category, 6 different options for bronzer. I have acquired one this year, which is the Sigma one, and I haven't emptied any. I'm nowhere near close to emptying any of them, so I don't know that that would happen for me within this year, but that's all right. I'm happy with the variety that I do have, and I'm happy to see that I have pan on the majority of my bronzers in my collection nowadays too. And for blush, I have 18 individual blush products in my collection. So this is inclusive of liquid, cream, powder, blushes, and palettes. Oh my goodness, that is a lot of blush selection, I will admit it. Some of them do have good progress, although I don't have any pans in my blush collection. And yeah, one of them is a deluxe size sample from Rare Beauty, but it is a little bit too large for me to count in my sample category because it actually does have a decent amount of product. So I count that as one of the blushes in my collection, and that makes it feel like it's more valuable to me and it has more urgency to me as well. I don't know if that makes any sense or if that's just my brain messing with me, but I have actually used up one blush this year, which is super exciting. It was a powder blush that I've had for years and years, and now I'm just dipping into my collection and playing around with it. I also have acquired one blush through PR from Sigma, and that's okay with me. At least it kind of just kept that number at a steady point. I haven't felt like I've acquired in any sort of amount of excess, but I would love to see myself either be able to declutter some of these, which feels really difficult to me, or work my way through some of these blushes. But I don't know. I don't know if I can do that in 2023. I just really don't feel like another empty in my blushes is attainable for me right now, but who knows? Maybe things will change. So for highlighters, I have quite a lot for somebody who doesn't oftentimes find themselves compelled to wear highlighter these days, but it was so trendy and so fun in years past that I have amassed quite a lot over the years. I currently have 22 individual items in this category, which is very large. That is quite a lot of highlighters. Some of them do have some progress on them, like a little bit of pan, but realistically, this is just more than my lifetime's worth of highlighters without a doubt. I could like be beaming every single day, glazed with highlighter every single day, and still have enough highlighter to last me through the rest of my life. I have also acquired 2 this year. One was from a reclutter. I brought back in an Essence highlighter from previously decluttering. And then I also have received one in PR from Sigma this year. And I have thankfully emptied one. It was a deluxe size sample, but it counts nevertheless. It was an item that I had for so long. It was a liquid formula that I'm very happy to have used up. So yeah, one emptied, and I'm currently sitting at 22 highlighters throughout all my different pans, or all my different palettes rather, throughout duos. And yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. I will admit it. I'm not in denial about it, but for some reason I can't seem to part with any of these either. So it is what it is. Next up, we're chatting lip liners. So we're moving into the lips realm now. For lip liners, I currently only have 4 in this category. I have neither acquired or emptied any this year. You know, I am very slow to use up lip liners. And quite honestly, I am debating decluttering one of my brown lip liners because at the rate that I do use up lip liners, it just seems like an impossible feat for me to actually ever make progress on either of my brown lip liners. But I don't know. I might just hold on to them and see how I feel in the next 6 months or so. We'll see. We'll see with that. The next category is lip gloss and tinted lip balms. I currently have 12 items in this category. I feel okay with that because this is a category that's inclusive of all different kind of types of sheer lip products, basically. I have some lip balms that are in a stick format, lip balms that are in a squeezy tube, and then more traditional kind of lip glosses that have a doe foot applicator. It's a little bit of everything. I love lip gloss. I do have one that is extremely close to done in my current project pan, and I foresee myself being able to use up another couple this year as well. So 12 feels fine to me. It is kind of a larger number. But I'm okay with that number actually. I have also brought in one lip gloss this year, again through PR from Sigma. I did receive a very generous PR package from them, but that ended up kind of neutralizing itself because I did already finish one lip gloss this year as well, which was my NYX one, and that was a big feat that I'm very, very happy I was able to accomplish. So yeah, currently sitting at 12 items in that category. So let's chat about the lipstick category. This is a category that just gives me so much joy. I love lipsticks. I love different formulas and colors. I love playing around, and I have 19 items in this category. When I was laying them all out, it was surprising to me to realize I had 19, but I'm okay with this number. I really can't imagine myself parting with any of my lipsticks unless I notice that they actually start to expire on me. I am nearly done one. As you can see, there's one in a pan, so I'm nearly done that one, and I'm super close to getting to the point where I have to depot another one. So I could see myself being more at like 17 by the end of this year. However, I don't think it will be anything less than that number. I have acquired one this year, again through PR, but as I said, I am super duper close to finishing one, and that feels so good to me. My next category is eyeshadow primer. I currently have just 2 products in this category. They are both just traditional eyeshadow primers. However, one is a liquid and one is a stick product. I did acquire one. That stick primer is one that I brought into my life this year through PR. And I have emptied one, which was my e.l.f. glitter glue. I've yet to replace that. However, I'm fairly certain I'm going to be replacing that very, very soon. So yeah, I've acquired one, emptied one, and I'm currently sitting at 2, which is totally fine by me. So the most exciting category, in my opinion, is the eye products, whether it be eyeshadows and eyeliners, and that's what we're getting into now. This is where a big bulk of my collection lies. So let's chat about the liquid and gel eyeliners. This is a category that I've always kept combined throughout years past. I never really have that many in this category. Currently, I have 3 items in this category. I've neither acquired or emptied any this year yet. 2 of these are liquid liners and one is a gel pot liner. I'm totally fine with this. I have a really good variety. I have some fun with all 3 of these products, and I do use them pretty regularly and consistently. So that is very, very much fine to me. The next category is the pencil eyeliners. And in this category, I've kind of shifted how I organize things a little bit from years past. I have some of my chubby sticks, my like eyeshadow pencils, I guess, in this category because generally speaking, I typically just use them more like pencil eyeliners. I use them in my waterline, or sometimes I'll just use them for a little bit of an accent in my inner corner, something like that. So I'm generally using them more so as I would a pencil eyeliner, and I store them together. And so to me, that just makes sense. Anyways, I currently have 7 products in this category, and that is totally fine with me. I do have a really good variety, definitely quite a bit of the greens going on in this category, but it feels really good to me to have 7 items in this category. I feel like I have lots and lots of options. I have acquired one item which I did receive through PR, and it is a really beautiful color that I'm very happy to have in my life. And I have emptied one eyeliner as well this year through my project pan, so that kind of balances itself out. I feel like I should be able to finish off one other pencil eyeliner in this year. I'm really hoping to finish up my NYX Golden Bronze eyeliner, which is currently in my Graveyard Project pan. So hopefully within the next 6 months or so, I can make that happen. For liquid and cream eyeshadows, I currently have 6 products in this category, 3 of which are more of your traditional liquid eyeshadows that come in like a squeezy tube. One of them is a cream eyeshadow in a pot. It's from Auric. And then the other 2 are part of a e.l.f. duo, but I count them each as individual eyeshadows because if I was to finish off, say, the green side, I still would be left with the white side and I wouldn't want to not count that as an empty for myself. I hope that makes sense. I have not acquired any items in this category, nor have I emptied any. And maybe I will finish one from that e.l.f. duo, but who knows? Who's to say? I'm okay with this number. 6 is totally fine. I have a lot of variety within these, and it is a category that I oftentimes neglect, so maybe I should be putting some of these into my project pan to get some usage on them. So last but certainly not least is eyeshadows. So let's chat about eyeshadow singles first. I currently have 73 eyeshadow singles in my collection. These are magnetic pans or individually packaged eyeshadows that are not in palettes. Basically anything that is individual or single. I have 73 of those. That's quite a lot of eyeshadows. And then when it comes to eyeshadow palettes, I have 21 eyeshadow palettes. That is, I think, the highest my eyeshadow palette collection number has ever been. But I am feeling like I'm ready to possibly part with some of my eyeshadow palettes. I don't know, but I have acquired 3 eyeshadow palettes this year, all through PR. I'm very grateful for all of those, and I do love the variety of eyeshadows that I do have in my collection. And because I broke everything down by individual pans for all of the other categories, I thought, why not just share with you the actual number of individual pans of eyeshadows that I do have in my collection to really hold myself accountable. I have 333 eyeshadows in my collection right now. Yes, that's quite a lot of eyeshadows. Definitely a lot of variety for sure. But you know, eyeshadow holds a very special place in my heart. I really do love eyeshadow, as with all other makeup. I really do love makeup. I want to keep track of my makeup inventory, not because I want to punish myself or, you know, shame myself for having larger categories or larger numbers than other people maybe do have in their lives. It's really just a good practice to keep myself accountable and to keep myself in check too. Instead of just letting categories kind of grow exponentially, it's really interesting to sit down and kind of just check in with myself, see where things are at and see where things could be improved. Overall, I am so happy with where my numbers are at. I'm so happy with my mindset about makeup at this moment as well. I have really not brought in that much makeup. I am technically on a no buy, but through PR, I have been very considerate as to what has been allowed to come into my life. And I've been using up things. I've been rotating through my collection. I've been having a lot of fun with the makeup that already exists in my collection. And that's all I can really ask of myself. So yeah, that, my friends, is my makeup inventory. I hope that you found it interesting to hear the numbers. And with all that being said, thank you so much for watching and for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye everyone.